All right, welcome back. We are going to go over Brecksville results. This is Week 5. Brecksville took place, last weekend?
Yeah, last week.
Last weekend.
Yeah.
So you're going to, or I'm going to.
We can both talk about it. It's
Okay,
okay.
we
I
can
mean,
talk
you were
about
there, so you saw.
I was there.
Yeah, so I'm saying you were there, so you might have a better kind of hands-on knowledge.
Yeah.
I kind of talked to some people. I know Alliance didn't have a great tournament. They were without Deuce.
They were without Deuce. I wouldn't say they didn't have I'm sure if you talk Shaw, it wasn't the tournament he wanted. He had a couple guys with very close to placing. They're heavyweight. I know Skylar Curry was close. A couple other guys, 220 young. But they didn't end up having any placers. But I had a couple kids go very far. So, and like you said, no Deuce. I talked to Shaw about that. Same thing. He's kind of banged up. And obviously he's had a pretty successful football career, and I think he carried the ball quite a bit this year. So, I think they're just being cautious with him.
Well, that's smart. I mean, he's a big time athlete. He's a big time wrestler, football player, and sometimes as a fan you want everybody to be healthy for every match and every tournament. We talked about it a little bit last week, but you got to do what's best for the kid, I trust Sean. I trust the program there. But hey, talking about the Canfield Cardinals, they're 5 placers, right? Is that right?
5 placers, yep.
And then tell us a little bit about, just run through them a little bit. David loses in the finals to Lawson, right?
David takes second. He loses to Lawson 3-0. And we've lost a lot. That's our 3rd time losing to Lawson. And to be honest with you, and I'm sure if you talk to David, his performance, it was a little lackluster in the sense that I was disappointed he didn't go out and pull the trigger more.
Yeah.
Especially against a kid you've lost to twice, a kid that's obviously a very good kid.
Yeah.
And I'm sure David, I know he went back and watched that match and thought about it, and it's a kid we might see at D's maybe if they're up there. So
hopefully.
But having said that, he takes 2nd place at one of the toughest tournaments in the country, so not a bad showing.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then you just run through everybody else.
So Delicio, he takes 5th at 170. Had a nice tournament, first tournament, really first time out,
back,
first wrestling this season. And
he's got to get in shape still.
Yeah, he's still, he's not 100% in terms of conditioning and those sorts of things.
But I know as far as Delicio goes, your coach Pitts is working pretty closely with him in these last couple weeks to make sure he's kind of getting ready to go, so that's exciting.
Yeah, he'll be ready to go when it's the time. So it was a nice tournament for him.
You know who else gets a little bit of credit there is Coach Soha, though.
Oh yeah.
Stan has kind of has known Anthony for a long time and has kind of been a mentor to him. And for those that don't know, Stan Soha is on our staff. Graduated, 20 years ago it seems like, but it was yesterday. I think it was 2014. But we're a guy on our staff. But just he's a younger guy on our staff. That used to be you.
Yeah.
Used to be Steve. Now it's Stan and Sean. But just has a real good relationship with our younger guys that have bright
absolutely.
futures.
If you go through the state tournament last year, Stan, he walked Anthony through that. Obviously, Anthony had a heck of a state tournament, and Stan was a big part of that.
Yeah.
So, also placing, Nick Crawford took 4th at 195. Had a great tournament. He was up 8-1 in a match. And lost, actually. He ended up getting stuck by the kid. He was up 8-1 and then came back on the backside and ended up beating that same kid. He was from Indiana. And then he ended up taking 4th.
And then our heavyweight,
Daniel Kapalko.
Yeah.
Taking 4th, and he's opening a lot of eyes. Now, Danny took a couple years off wrestling, but had wrestled for a very long time.
Yeah. So.
He was certainly never a heavyweight, so he's kind of finding his way there and feeling that out. But he beat a lot of good kids. I mean, if you look at the kids he beat, the Tuslaw kid, the Marysville kid, the Oregon Clay kid.
Yeah.
I mean, kids that are like legitimate state caliber kids. He's beating them and doing a very nice job of it.
Danny's he's competitive. And he's strong and aggressive, and I think those are just traits that are going to win you matches, especially heavyweight. He's just going to keep driving and grinding, and I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then rounding off our placers at 220, Tyler Stein. He took 5th, and he had a very nice tournament. Dropped a tough match in the Conci semis, one that probably could have went either way, but bounced back, took 5th. And he's a kid that just continues to make strides.
I tell you what, Tyler. I told you after the wrestling season last year, after state, he was a little bit disappointed.
Right.
And then you know what? Just made that switch went on, and it goes off at different ages for different kids. The light bulb went off, and he's got the confidence. He certainly has the ability. He's having a great year, and he's just going and looking for the best matches.
Right.
I'm really proud of him because he now that he's figured it out, he's going to just get better and better and better and better. And I'll tell you what, I said this before. Look out for Nick Crawford.
Yeah.
Look out for Nick Crawford because he's super athletic and
gaining confidence himself and figuring it out at the high school level. You know, there's obviously a jump there from middle school to high school, and he's definitely figuring it out.
He is, yep.
Which is impressive to see. So
just 2 teams at Brecksville, right?
2 teams at Brecksville, yeah. Detroit Central Catholic won, Portage, Indiana was second, and then Brecksville took third, and then Canfield, obviously, I think we mentioned, was 12th.
12th, yeah. Close to the top 10. Could have been there had we kind of maybe refocused a little bit, maybe won some matches we didn't. And,
a couple things went our way.
Couple things went our way, yep. Very good. Okay, anything else for Brecksville?
Nope. Thanks, guys.